What's up YouTube? My name is Russell and today we're going to be talking about my adventure of getting the North Carolina real estate license, and if you're interested or maybe know somebody who's interested, this could be really useful. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams New Bern, and I'm actually what's called a provisional broker. When you get your license in North Carolina, you get the status of provisional broker. It's pretty much like saying you're a real estate agent in training, and you do have to be supervised by what's called a broker in charge. All of this will be explained to you in the pre-licensing course. The pre-licensing course is a 75-hour course that you do have to take. It can range from $400 to $600, depending on what school you enroll with. Thanks to COVID, all of the schools, or at least almost all of the schools, are online, and they do have the Zoom call classes, or you can do the at your own pace class. I actually enrolled with Kaplan University to do mine. I did it through Keller Williams, and it was actually a scholarship that paid for me. It's for veterans or affiliated military member. I believe they can also qualify. You do just contact your local Keller Williams office, and I'm sure somebody who works there can explain that. That's not an agent. I actually recommend using Kaplan, mostly because they offer all these different study tools, like practice quizzes. They had tutoring for free at your own disposal. You just had to email the instructors. Those Q-banks / practice quizzes that they offer, literally the best thing ever. I pretty much memorized the entire Q-bank system in order to pass my test. For my military people out there, the real estate class is through SkillBridge now, so just get in contact with your education center and let them know that you might be interested in joining and figure out what else you have to do. I'm not sure who they use their schooling through, but yeah, I would contact them. If you are doing the scholarship program through Keller Williams and Kaplan, they do offer the one that's actually for free is the at your own pace. I did pay $100 more out of my own pocket in order to do the live online classes. I would recommend the live online classes, mostly because, at least for myself, the at your own pace, I would just never understand. You can email the instructors if you have questions, but you do have to wait for their response in order to get the answer to your questions. I'd rather just ask in class. And I'm more of a hands-on person, so I do need to be told what to do. If you have the online textbook and the online workbook, it's a little challenging to, unless you have more than one screen, to bounce back and forth between looking at the class screen on the Zoom call and following along with your textbook. So they do offer you to pay for the textbook if you want the physical copy, which is kind of stupid, but it's what they do. I'm sure that's how they get their money. For those of you who are not getting the scholarship through Kaplan and Keller Williams, the class is going to be about $600. And you get literally everything that can come with the class. You get the live online classes, you get all of the same tutoring that I've been talking about, you get all the same study materials, you get the physical copies of the workbook and the textbook, and you get some other perks that I don't remember. There's just so many. Don't think this is a paid ad. I'm not telling you have to do Kaplan. I'm not getting paid by Kaplan to say all this. I just know through a lot of other people who didn't use Kaplan, they said that they had a very hard time with the class, and this course is not an easy course to overcome. It is a lot of legal information. I do have to say that because of the study tools, I felt a lot more confident with taking the test. Feel free to shop around and find out what school is going to be what you're looking for, what meets your needs. I mean, some people might even be comfortable taking the at your own pace. Not me. I will never be able to do that. But before I forget, with the Kaplan school, you do not, if you're using the scholarship, you do not have to sign up with Keller Williams. I just signed up with Keller Williams, one, because they're one of the biggest agencies where I live. Also, what they were offering for agents when you do work there, their commission rates, I feel like was a very competitive rate. That's something that you can shop around to as well. Feel free to interview your local real estate offices. Again, I mean, it's all up to what you're looking for. When you are shopping around, just keep in mind of, like, you know, your monthly fees and stuff like that, but I can explain that further more in the video. The background check is something that you do have to take. It's required no matter how good you've been, or if you've ever been in jail, if you haven't been in jail, whatever the case is, no matter where you've worked, you do have to take another background check. The instructors will tell you where to do it and when to do it. Basically, it is through halfway through your class that they will tell you to go ahead and start paying for that. It can range from pricing anywhere. For me, being in the military, and I was married, I had 2 names and I had multiple addresses, so I did have to pay for every state that I lived in and my 2 names. So for example, I lived in 3 different states within the last, I believe it was 7 to 10 years. So I had to pay for 3 states for each name, so you do the math. And mine was about $150 for my background check, but I mean, if you haven't lived anywhere else and you only have 1 name, it's probably gonna be like 50 bucks. So just check they'll show you your thing online. Depending on your background check, it can only take about 1 to 2 weeks. I got mine the very next day. It really just depends on you, so there's no like specific time frame, but that's why they do tell you to do it about halfway through the class, because you don't want to do it too early because you could just flunk out of the school. But you know, halfway through they have confidence that you're going to go ahead and be committed to finishing the course. After you finish the course, you're going to have 2 attempts to pass the test. I do recommend using those study tools, specifically the practice quizzes. I mean, do them until you can remember the exact question and the exact answering, the whole wording and all. Those were like the bread and butter of the study tools, and I highly recommend them because this test is very challenging. I feel like they are designed to trick you. So just read the questions carefully and just really study. You do really want to study. I do believe in you because I was able to do it, so if I can do it, you definitely can do it. You passed your end of course exam. Congratulations, you're on your way to getting your license. You thought. You actually have to submit a request to take 2 more tests, and those are called the state and the national test. Also, I don't know if I've already talked about this, but you do have to submit an application to the commission. But just double check with your instructors when you do take the course when the application gets submitted. But you do have to submit an application. The background check is part of it, and it's basically just, you know, you're not crazy, you're not going to kill anybody, and that you need to submit this in order to get, it's basically applying to be a real estate agent through the commission. The stressful part is the state and national test. It costs currently about $156 to take both of them. If you fail one, thankfully, you don't have to retake the one that you passed, but you do have to pass both of them. The sucky part is if you pass one and fail one, when you go to repay for the new test, because you do have to pay for it every time, you will have to pay the $156, whether you're taking one or you're taking both. It doesn't matter. I don't know what for. Doesn't make sense to me. It's probably how the state makes their money. Just grow up, get over it, you'll be okay. I did it several times. In fact, I don't know anybody who's done it both past the first time, so don't feel like down if you fail, because you probably are going to fail at least once, or one of them at least once. I actually passed the national once, the first time, and the state, The state I failed about 4 or 5 times, let's say. It did take quite a while to pass the state test. The national, surprisingly, is 90 questions if I remember correctly, and you get about 3 hours to take it, so that should explain a lot. I felt very like, let's just say I couldn't focus a lot in those 3 hours. I lost concentration so many times in that test. The questions are so boring. And they are very tricky. It's like they are set up to trick you, misguide you. Just read the question very carefully. The state test is, I believe it was 45 questions if I remember correctly, and you get like an hour and a half to do that one. That was the one I kept failing. It's mostly because they're all about license law, mostly, and like agency questions and stuff like that. You'll understand those topics when you start going through the course. They are very tricky questions that they ask you again, but the way I passed them is those study materials that I was talking about earlier. Those, I practically memorized them, and thankfully a lot of them were the same questions that were on the actual state test. I was actually able to pass the test thanks to those study materials. Any firm that you join, they're gonna have all of their little rules. They're gonna have their different commission rates. Definitely shop around, talk to more than one firm, unless you know somebody that you already were gonna go with beforehand. I would still talk around with other firms just because you never really know. Beforehand, you might have not known something in the real estate world, but now you do. Just shop around, ask about commission rates, ask about other things that interest you, what kind of sales you're going to be doing. Are you going to be doing listings? Are you going to be doing buyer stuff? Are you going to be doing both? Are you doing rentals? Are you, as a professional broker, you're only allowed to do residential. You're not allowed to do commercial just yet, but you know, do they offer commercial? How do they, you know, can you do referral fees? You should be able to, but ask if they do that. Some of their training plans, ask about that. Ask about, you know, what their commission rate is with, you know, are they 70% you, 30% them? Are they less? Are they more? Whatever firm you do decide to go with, be prepared to sign 1,010 different pages when you first join, because there are agreements. You do have to understand a lot of things. You're gonna have to sign up for a lot of things. They're gonna ask you for all your personal information. They're gonna ask you a whole bunch of different questions that you probably feel like you're signing your life away, and you kind of are, but it's fine. You'll be all right. You do have to pay monthly fees for most firms. That's paying for the lights, that's paying for office space, for just existing. Be prepared for that. I never heard of that, but that's something that, you know, I wish I knew beforehand, because I probably would have been asking those kinds of questions. But, you know, that's something that you can be prepared for beforehand. The most expensive part that you want to prepare for is getting access to the multiple listing service. In the field, you're going to be hearing that called as the MLS. That is the bread and butter of what us agents do to get our money. We're allowed to list houses on there. You can do a whole bunch of other things. You can see what's on the market. You can see what's coming on the market. It's very valuable to have. You almost are required to do that. You're going to want it. And depending on what time of the year you do sign up, generally it's around $1,000 for the year. I got my license in March, so when I signed up, it was actually April, and they prorated it for me. So I believe your first year you have to pay the application fee. Where I'm at, it was $350, and the prorated fee that they gave me for the actual service is it was like $500 or something like that. So I still had to pay like $800 instead of $1,000. But it's still a pretty fat check. Now you're signed up, you got a firm, you got some gung-ho swag, you are selling yourself, telling every single body that you know that you're a real estate agent, coolio. The next steps would be to complete your post-licensing. The post-licensing is made up of 3 separate courses. Each one is about 30 hours long. You are required to do that within 18 months of getting your license in North Carolina. Also, check with your firm. I know I have some buddies that are in a different firm than I am, and their firm is requiring them to get their post-licensing within 6 months. So go ahead and check with your firm when they require you to do the post-licensing. But the North Carolina law is 18 months, you have to do it. And once you complete those 3 courses, you will finally remove that stinky provisional status and become a full-on real estate broker. Also, part of your next step is getting some clients. You're gonna be starting out from 0. The only way to get some money in the real estate world is through a closing of any sorts. You can get a referral fee, but you're probably gonna have to wait for a closing. You can sell a house, you can help someone buy a house that's also waiting for a closing. It's the only way you can get paid is by some kind of commission. So you need to get some clients. Just stay cool, keep your head on, don't take it too personally if you don't get a client right away. Keep in mind that closings can take about 30 to 45 days depending on the type of loan. Some might even not even take that long depending on, you know, if they're paying cash, but it is going to take at least 2 to 3 weeks or more. Also, I would like to point out that I know a lot of the times you're probably going to think that the very first people you're going to try and get to be your client is friends and family. I'm going to go ahead and warn you that those people, as much as you really want it to be, most likely will not be. I don't want to discredit anyone. Every family member and friend is different, but for the majority of the part, I feel that most people, you know, they know you just got your license. They probably don't want to use you right away because they are about to get a loan, which is probably going to be the biggest loan they ever had. A house is one of the biggest purchases they could ever get in their life. So they might not trust you exactly right off the bat. But that doesn't mean to just forget about them. Definitely keep them in your pocket. You can use them further down the road. They can even send people your way further down the road. They'll see you grow as a real estate agent with the time to come. But also, you never know. You can just talk to them and they might just be willing to go with you. So, you know, just keep it in mind, but at the same time, don't not do it. Like, I've asked my friends and family and they all laughed at me. I'm just kidding, they didn't laugh at me. They were just saying, no, I'm not looking right now. But at the same time, you know, it's a possibility that one day that, you know, maybe one of these days they can just be like, oh, hey, Russell, I really, really want to sell my house, or I'm really looking to buy. I'm finally ready to get out of this stank apartment. That about sums it up. This video was not meant to scare you from getting your license, but more like to prepare you for what actually happens. When I first got my license, I was not aware of any of the extra fees on the tail end of anything. I wasn't aware I was going to be spending any money after, besides maybe getting a sign or two. But I've spent a lot more than that currently. Getting my license has definitely been a journey for me. It's been something that I've always been wanting to do. I finally built the courage up to get it. I'm super excited to get my name out there, start growing my business, and doing all cool things. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my YouTube video. This is actually my very first video ever. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Please comment if I should do certain things to improve my video. Maybe I didn't talk about something you wish I did. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment. I will be posting more videos. I actually have an open house this upcoming weekend, and I will probably be posting a video about that, so stay tuned if you want to see that. Also, in the near future, I'll probably be posting videos about other hobbies of mine. Not that real estate is a hobby, it's actually my job. But I will be posting some of my other hobbies, which include my car. I do have a sports car right now. And I do like off-roading. I plan on getting an off-roading vehicle in the near future. I love DIY stuff, so I'll probably be building stuff around my house. So if you like videos like that, just keep a lookout. I will be posting them in the near future. Share this video with your friends and let's get to 100 subscribers, and I will be sending out a surprise to a lucky member. If you're thinking about selling or buying a home, or know somebody who wants to sell or buy their home, please give them my info. Thank you again for watching my video. Later, Gator.